Hey, I'm Ariana Rodriguez, a systems specialist for agency owners rooted in equitable, intersectional, and sustainable business practices. This podcast shares the stories of agency owners like you who have gone from bootstrapping solopreneurs to empowered CEOs. They've been where you are, and each week you'll hear how we created systems that support their brains and businesses to get them where they are today. This is Stories of Scaling. Welcome to the party. So let's talk about using Google Drive as your systems. I work with a lot of people, and one of the biggest things that I see a lot of my clients doing is using Google Drive as their system. And I say systems in air quotes. So this particular client was a talent manager, and she had so many spreadsheets. And when we first started working together, she would tell me that she feels insane, that she doesn't know how to improve. Deadlines were constantly being missed because she wasn't tracking anything appropriately. She had the equivalent of a to-do list to track like $500,000 worth of deals, right? It would have honestly been better if she was writing it down in an agenda at that point. So she and I, when we first started working together, told me that she was using spreadsheets to organize all of her data and to manage all the client deals or the invoicing, the financial projections that she had for the company, everything, right? I mean, again, everything. Google Sheets can be one of the worst places to manage this much money because you can't actually manage the to-do list. It is a static list that you don't have capacity to update, and it doesn't do anything. So you're putting this information in this repository where it's just going to live and not do a thing. So she wasn't meeting deadlines. Things were being missed because they were all over the place. She had some things on her calendars, some things in spreadsheets, no due dates on anything, and was constantly telling me that she felt like she was going insane. So when we started working together, the first thing that we did was start brainstorming about different platforms that we can possibly use to help organize all of it. And I was working with her for a year and a half, so we experimented a little bit. So the first thing we did was try out Notion. She saw my setup, really appreciated it, and said, let's try it. We tried out Notion, and it worked for a little while, right? Notion worked for a little bit, and then all of a sudden she got busier and busier and needed more communications to go out. And we were able to really see that Notion wasn't going to solve all the problems, right? Notion didn't have an API at that point. They didn't have the automations that they have now. We really needed something that was going to be a little bit more robust. So we went to ClickUp, and we were able to create a system that allowed us to organize all of our contracts, to track invoices, understand the progress on deliverables, right? And then also track deadlines, the most important part, and make sure that we were not missing deadlines. This ClickUp setup gave her the ability to see everything at a glance, right? She now had oversight over her company. She was able to see who was dropping the ball, where something might be missing, what was happening, right, on a daily basis to understand the growth of her company. So we were able to see the inefficiencies and then fix the inefficiencies and then plan forward. We were really able to create SOPs and other processes that reduced how many hours they were spending in front of a computer, reduced the number of emails back and forth, reduced a significant amount of confusion, right? Because we were able to condense everything from what would have been days of emails to a simple communication from her account managers to her virtual assistant. We were able to build this really robust system that allowed her to track her clients in a standardized way, that allowed her to then scale in such a way that she was able to bring on double the clients with the same amount of account managers because the system supported her. So instead of being spread thin, she was really able to become the CEO of her company and actually feel like she was in control of what was happening in her company instead of just riding the wave of chaos that she was. So again, if you have done something a certain way, that does not mean you have to continue to do it, right? This particular client went from being a solopreneur to having a team of 5 and tripling the number of accounts that she was working on because the systems allowed her to scale. And as you're scaling, what worked for you as a solopreneur, i.e. Google Sheets as a system, will not continue to work for you when you have a team. To truly step into the CEO role, you need to create systems that will carry your business forward. So let's think about those systems together. Thanks for hanging with me today. It would mean a lot to me if you would review the show on your favorite podcast platform. It helps the show get in front of more agency owners that need it. Nos vemos.